values are velocity, which is basically
Speed.
yeah, it's all about momentum. It's about putting energy into projects and getting excited about them and inspiring people, bringing people along with you. And you can't really achieve anything unless you put focus and effort into it. So you need that sort of velocity. If you're 25 and you really want to start a business, that feeling will always be with you. And it actually won't be too late. Getting on a bike after a long week for 2 or 3 hours was a nice de-stressor. If you're listening to this, or if you're doing something like this, keep it up and don't give up. And swimming is almost a form of meditation. When they tell people to meditate, they say let thoughts come in and go out. And that naturally happens when you're swimming. We will do AI commentary. We will do AI automated highlights. We're also building an AI writer. It's already live. TikTok's blocked in your country. 1.2 billion people. TikTok is blocked in India, right?
Yes.
Interesting about media is it's fascinating, right? Like we think celebrities are global and we think they're big names, but as kids, the local cricketer in my hometown, the local GAA hurling, the Irish sports, the star of that team is on the same level as Michael Jordan or David Beckham.
Like how many Ironman?
9 or 10 70.3s and 2-ish full Ironmans. I did some nice races across the region. I've done Bahrain, Muscat, Estonia, Hurghada, Salashish in Egypt, and Dubai, and different places. I'm actually doing an Ironman in 5 weeks' time in France. Living inside someone's head is actually what media is. If I said that your podcast isn't any good, then how dare I, with my opinion, ruin your chance of earning a living? Like, who am I?
Few years back, there was an event of Andrew Tate and it got cancelled. Like what happened there? There was a huge controversy around it. Hello guys, so this is our third episode and today we have Richard Fitzgerald, a media mogul and a well-known name in the Dubai media industry, owner of brands like Lovin Dubai, Lovin Saudi and Smashi TV, right Richard?
Yes, that's right. Thanks,
Okay.
Udit, for having me on.
Thanks a lot and for coming in the podcast. I mean, I'm just starting out here in Dubai and a person like you coming to my podcast is a great honor.
Well done for starting out here.
Thanks a lot. So, Richard, we go further. I mean, we want our audience to give some, your background, like where do you are from and what your upbringing and how do you come to Dubai, if you can just go.
I'm Irish, grew up in the 80s in Ireland, went to university in Dublin, started working there in advertising and kind of straight into social media around 2006, 2007. And I kind of noticed that the world of advertising and digital was moving fast into social. So I found, even though it was recession in Ireland around 2008, I found a global social media agency being built out of London called We Are Social, and I managed to get a job there. And that was, a stepping stone out of Ireland, but what eventually ended up was, a stepping stone into the London advertising ecosystem. And I ended up then working with one of the big media groups there under WPP, and that sort of, the appeal of London at the time was both specializing on social media, but also the Olympics was coming up in 2012, and I wanted to be there around that time. However, a month before the Olympics, I took a job in Dubai as a social media director for within that group, but it wasn't fully owned. So I ended up moving to Dubai in that summer, and over the next 3 years, built out a social media department across 13 offices that served sort of Middle East and North Africa, and our agency network had over 300 clients, and that was their first foray, many of them into Facebook pages and the like, and it was a fascinating time, very exciting, I did that for a few years, and then I was a bit restless. I was sort of approaching I was past 30, I was a bit restless, and I was thinking, what does this look like if I do it myself? What's a social media agency look like in Dubai in 2015? And I was sort of always thinking about this and always meeting people. Even though I had relatively climbed the ladder now at this stage, I was regional head of social, kind of MD level. I had my own P&L, I had a team of over 30 people, and I'd garnered a bit of respect already in the market. because of the sort of London background and some of the social media projects that I did myself. So, but I was a bit restless. I can't really describe it that I wanted to do something myself, but I knew I wasn't fulfilled doing what I was doing. And I had a few kind of false starts with conversations around setting up a social agency. I temporarily joined a social tech startup, but that summer of 2015, I saw the opportunity to set up Lovin Dubai. A friend of mine had Lovin Dublin, and we did that here basically. Yeah, that's how we got started 10 years ago this summer.
Okay. So, like, why Dubai? Like, you could have done something in London also, because, people prefer like something doing in their home background, or where, I mean, obviously, you have been to Dubai working in the job for a long time, but when you start for entrepreneurship, people always prefer their home country or home city. Why Dubai? Like,
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if people prefer their home city, but I mean, the initial appeal to Dubai was career because, uh, in sophisticated developed cities and countries, climbing the ladder is harder because uh, there's many people ahead of you in the jobs. Both my bosses were 15 years older than me in London, and I would have had to wait a long time
okay.
to get promoted, and I was just offered that on a plate to run a department in Dubai with carte blanche. It was like go and set up a social media department on your own in countries you know nothing about, and I just loved that challenge, and I think that was the initial appeal. I think afterwards. A secondary appeal was that the fact it wasn't back then. We used to talk about 2 million people in Dubai. Now at the end of this year we'll talk about 4 million people in Dubai, which is fascinating when you think about it, and in a country of over 10 million people. But the appeal of the region, like the emerging market, the nuances, the different demographics, the different countries, the different challenges, different market entries, different marketing challenges. That sort of Middle East and North Africa became appealing, and then also the sort of human aspect, the cultural aspect was appealing as well. And after that, when I was sort of 3 years in, it just felt natural and inevitable that to set up a business here. And I didn't really think about failing, even though in the first, 12, 18 months, there was plenty of times where it looked like it was hard. But, in 10 years now, in hindsight, it's clearly the right choice, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
what Lovin Dubai has achieved and what we've achieved and what the city has done in the last 10 years, how it came out of the pandemic. But I wish I could say I had that in hindsight, and that's why every time I talk about this, I always pay gratitude and respect to and credit the fact that we are in a good economy, we are in an emerging region. Dubai has created that environment. It's embraced digital, it's embraced new innovations and branding and marketing and tourism, and that's why it's sort of, alhamdulillah, it's worked out for us.
Okay. And so your first brand was Lovin Dubai, and your second brand was Smashi TV.
Yeah, we sort of, I think at the very start of Lovin Dubai, we thought we were part of a group that was going to have Lovin in many cities.
Okay.
And after about 5 years, it appeared that wasn't happening.
But you have Lovin in Saudi, right?
We do now. So what we did was we sort of bought out, and we sort of keep Lovin now for this region. And we did Lovin Saudi Arabia in 2017, and we entered that market just when the Crown Prince Hamad bin Salman was appointed Crown Prince, and this is very early days, and we ended up getting. We were one of the first really to get a CR, commercial registration, in Saudi, and we're still one of the only foreign-owned media companies to have fully owned, no partner, what is now called GAMR license in Saudi. We have an office of 20 people in Riyadh. We produce some of the hit Arabic shows on Snapchat, which are other sub-brands. So the way we look at the brands is Lovin is, hyper-local, Lovin Life, city brands, and it's for communities. It's telling what's happening in each city. We're in 22 cities across the region, And then Smashi is another mindset brand, and the tagline is for the driven, the dreamers, the doers.
Okay.
Much like your podcast title.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's it's for inspiring stories, and the overarching mission of Augustus Media is to become the modern media company of choice in the Middle East and North Africa, and we've grown to we're now in five offices. We're in 11 countries technically, of say 22.
All in the Gulf region.
Yeah, well, we have offices in Cairo, Abu Dhabi, Doha,
Okay.
Dubai, Riyadh, and we have people on the ground in Baghdad, Beirut, Gaza, Amman,
Okay.
Bahrain,
Okay.
Muscat, and we make no secret about our plans. Like, we want to do market entry elsewhere. At some point when the timing's right, we'll do the Maghreb kind of North Africa region further than Egypt. And but we do see a lot of growth in the Gulf, the modern Gulf cities, and then Smashi's that other brand, which is, as I said, that mindset brand. It's the opposite to Lovin. Lovin is YOLO and life.
Yeah,
love
it's
and
all
life.
fun and life
Yeah.
and yeah.
And Smashi's a bit more like aspirational.
And this is not city based.
We call them vertical based, so it's pan-Arab.
Okay.
It's by vertical. So there's 13 verticals. The ones we focus on today are Smashi Business, Smashi Sports, Smashi Entertainment.
Okay.
But we would like to tell kind of Gen Z, new modern media across Smashi Style, Smashi Home, Smashi Drive, Smashi Crypto, and different brands.
Okay, on crypto also.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are creating a media on crypto in.
Yeah.
That's something which is new. So what is the cultural differences, since you have this Lovin brand across all these cities? What is the cultural difference, because they are like mostly Arabic cities and with more or less like same culture, but what is the difference you have seen? What is the nuances in different cultures which you have observed?
I think the interesting thing,
because media is all about people, right?
True.
So what is the difference you have seen?
I think the interesting thing about Lovin and doing it in each market is some of the basic human emotions are the same, right? Like,
yes,
we like stories. We like to know what's happening. We like nostalgia. If I tell you, Udit, if I say, around the time when you were 10 years old and you were celebrating Diwali and you were having in Delhi and you were having
well, you know that Diwali is a big festival in India.
I learned it when I came here. But
Yeah.
if you remember the sweets that you had
Yes.
and the gathering,
Yes.
and I said the same thing to someone in Amman, in Jordan, about Eid al-Fitr,
Yes.
and I asked, there would be very different sweets, but there'd be very same nostalgia and feeling. So you just have to localize it. You just have to say 10 sweets we all remember when we were growing up, and like you do that nostalgia thing. And the interesting thing about media is it's fascinating, right? Like, we think celebrities are global and we think they're big names, but as kids, the local cricketer, or in my hometown, the local GAA hurling, the Irish sports, the star of that team is on the same level as Michael Jordan or David Beckham.
Yes.
In the local town.
Because he's the hero of that town.
Yeah.
Every kid wants to be like him.
Exactly. So, and this is fascinating, but if he comes to Dubai, no one knows who he is. And I think what is missing in local media is heroing these people and telling their stories. And I think that's the gap. That's the opportunity. Like, obviously there's been a lot of media in some countries in the region, but the media has been later to evolve here because of history, because of how late the printing press was adopted, the rules under the Ottoman Empire, and many, many things, and then affluency and digital penetration and many things. But so now there's an opportunity there. But culturally, there's so many nuances. We try and sort of stick within the media guidelines in the region and understand what it means to do media under Islamic constitutions and to try and create a different type of a media that, say, the Western world would understand. But still, tomorrow in Dubai or on Monday is the Arab Media Forum. Again, they host it every year, and they want to be the media capital of the region. And that just shows intent. Like, there is intent for media. So what are the local nuances? Market entry, like any business, if you're setting up a cafe, if you're setting up anything, if you're doing, if you're successful in Dubai, how are you successful in Riyadh, in Delhi, in Cairo? It's all about market entry. Who's your partner? Do you like McDonald's? Do they change the menu? Like all these different things that you have to think about.
Hmm. And another thing which I have like personally observed is most of the media which the Western world focuses on, the Arab world, is about political news and all these kind of news, and not so much on lifestyle and entertainment and sports. Like if I ask a random guy in India, like if tell me one name in Arab media, it will be like Al Jazeera or something like that. That's like the mainstream. It's always on that. They have never focused on the lifestyle and the culture and whatever you are doing.
I think they have. I mean, there are brands. There's Layalin and Saidati. There are brands that have been big over the years. There's NBC have E.T. Bilarabi that has a lot of followers online and billions of views, which is pure entertainment. The Arabic and Arab media does have entertainment. Does it have household global names? No, but like how many things have traveled out of the region per se? But yeah, like obviously, I do think the Middle East has a problem with how the world has perceived it in the media. An example is if you look up the word Vietnam on Google, the most of the things that appear are
A war.
A war from the 70s.
Yes.
But Vietnam is more than an American war in the 70s. And I think a lot of this stuff is to do with control of portals of English and Western perception and things like that. So that represents a challenge for us, but also an opportunity.
Okay. And like you said, no, like traveling across different cultures, like what have you seen the difference between people? Like what is the reception? Like has been the ride has been smooth for Lovin in Dubai and in the same in Riyadh or same in Cairo, or it has different set of challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different set of challenges. I think going back to the point about setting up a business in Dubai, once we got going, that SME market, our advertisers helped us here, and that's taken a little bit longer in Saudi.
Okay.
From an advertiser, from a business model point of view. Egypt's been fine after a while. Once we got going well there. Even like Abu Dhabi, we're doing well, and we're starting in Doha, in Qatar. From a content point of view, yeah, we had success in Saudi in a different format on Snapchat. And I think you need to be aware of the different platforms and the different nuances in the region as well.
Okay, so platforms also change across regions.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have your these favorite lines like tenacity, velocity, and ingenuity.
we have these values that we.
I've seen you said the same thing in a lot of different podcasts also.
Yeah, well, so how do you achieve a mission and what role do values come into it? And on these values, we have behavior types. So our values are velocity, which is basically
speed.
Yeah, it's all about momentum. It's about putting energy into projects and getting excited about them, and inspiring people, bringing people along with you, and you can't really achieve anything unless you put focus and effort into it. So you need that sort of velocity, you need that pressure, you need that environment, and then tenacity is about never giving up. So slow and steady wins the race. The harder you work today, the more you're rewarded tomorrow, and it's about just persistence and being tenacious and gritting on when things go against you. That sort of growth mindset, not fixed mindset. And then ingenuity is diversity. It's believing there's a bit of genius in everything we do. So adding a bit of lateral thinking. We're not robots. You can't over-process media. You have to think as you go. And it's a lot about, leveraging the power of the collective minds in the company.
Okay, one thing which I have noticed in media when there was no social media. So I'm from the 90s basically, where I've seen mainstream media announcing social media. Is that when there was only mainstream media, there was no social media, there was a news which is from a neutral point of view. It's like the truth. And in social media, what happened? They have like different chambers. So people only want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. Now everything has both aspects. So there can be a good aspect also, there can be, and that's why you can see a lot of polarizing figures across the media. Yeah. A lot of people cheering for XYZ, let's assume Donald Trump, a lot of people cheering for him, and then a lot of people are against him also. So how do you manage this polarizing where people are not interested in truth, but only on their viewpoint, their particular, angle of the story?
Yeah, look, I think it's a quite a loaded question in terms of.
Then people say you are a leftist media or you are anti-feminist or you are branded like something like that.
Yeah, like you know, I think some media houses that aspire to be impartial and balanced do a very good job, an admirable job, and then they get attacked. And I think, when they go global, then people say, well, you're coming, like, it's that sort of innate bias, right? You're coming at it from a point of view of you grew up in this environment, therefore you're going to be subconsciously biased, So I think it's almost impossible. And I don't think, who's the arbitrator of the truth? Is it the media organization, or is it data, or is it the platforms? And this is the world that we're in. And I think it's not black or white. It's not red or blue. It's not this or that. And I don't think, I think the law is there to call people out if they're doing something wrong, if they're telling lies, or if whatever, or if they're defaming people or whatever. But like, we don't aspire to be impartial. Like Lovin, it's in the name. We hire people who are proud of and defend their city and who celebrate the heroes, the local heroes. There we do tell news. There is utility, but we're telling inspiring stories from where we are, and we're not supposed to be impartial. I was listening to a well-known presenter in the UK who recently lost his job, and he sort of said about impartiality. He said, when there was elections on, or when there's genocides happening or whatever, or really terrible things in the world, the pressure is on the news organization to give equal viewpoints. Say they have a 15-minute slot, they should give 7.5 minutes from one side and 7.5 minutes from another. And like that on theory, that sounds fair, right? But then his point was that if it's raining outside, you don't have 2 minutes of someone telling you it's raining, and then 2 minutes of someone else saying, well, it might not be raining. If it's raining, right? And I think that's this kind of point. Like, you feel like you have to balance everything, just for the sake of being impartial and for the sake of doing it. And I think, when you try and be 100% impartial, you almost can never achieve that. Hiding to nothing, like you just can't achieve it. So I think what we try and do is, like, we're aware of we don't really cater to an international audience, but by being English, and there is spillover, and there's a lot of eyeballs on Dubai, and a lot of people have parents in other countries that they look and see on Lovin Dubai what's happening in the city that they're going to visit, or et cetera, et cetera. So, we're aware of these things. We're aware of biases. We're aware of lack of content and stories in the region. And, we're aware of, like, society themes. Like, there's a global Islamophobia issue, for example. And, and even in this city, there's not necessarily by design, because I think it's a very equal city in many levels, but like there is a level of when you have so many cultures together, not everyone understands other cultures. So the more that we sort of put mixed culture content on our platform, and we don't sort of have a piece of paper where we're going, okay, we're doing 8% of our posts about Philippines and 10% about Arabs, or we don't do it like that.
Okay.
But by default, because we're not sort of stuck in a Western mindset, because we're not stuck on just covering celebrities from the UK, because we're really focused on covering people from Dubai, or who are in Dubai. That's why we always use that title, Dubai-based person. And they're like, why are you saying they're Dubai-based? They're clearly from Egypt or whatever. And we're like, well, our point is to cover the people who are doing something and who are relevant to the city.
So a few years back, there was an event of Andrew Tate and it got cancelled. Like, what happened there? There was a huge controversy around it.
Yeah, there was. As far as I know, he was issued a license, and obviously we don't issue licenses for events, but DTCM issued a license and then rescinded that license. But we were, we're a media company, not an events license arbitrator. But yeah, I'm aware of the time where I think he'd sold out the event, right? A lot of people want to hear him talk, but I think he'd sold out the event, right? I don't know how much tickets were, obviously. Well, I didn't go or I didn't buy tickets, but yeah, apparently it was cancelled. I hope they got a refund.
Yeah, but your company was somehow, I think, associated and you got disassociated. Something like that happened?
Yeah, there were the trolls sort of the people online did attack Lovin Dubai, but no, we didn't organize the event.
Okay. You didn't organize. Okay, taking the podcast on a different route, enough about controversies. Like I saw you in Instagram, you were posting a lot of content on AI, how AI is going to change the media and everything. Like, what's your view? Like you said, no, back in 2015, you take a bet on social media and it has gone really big and everything. Now the bet is on AI, like it can go really big in the next 10 years. Like, what are you seeing in media across industries? Like, what is your view on that?
Yeah, AI is a funny one, isn't it? You like it.
It's like social medias of 2010 or something like that.
By somehow it is, and I didn't expect it because I thought that AI was for robotics and machine learning. I didn't expect AI to be about content, and with generative AI, I think most of us heard about ChatGPT in October, November 2022, and it's accelerated from there. Now we see so many things happening with AI. It's on a race to artificial general intelligence. We're seeing now at the moment the large language models and a lot of sort of chat about data centers or data factories and investment in chips and all this sort of stuff. And I think more and more we're hearing about agents and we're hearing about things like that. From a content point of view, it's really going to accelerate how we produce content and how we what we do about content and how we consume content. It's going to really change things. Already is.
So recently I saw an Instagram clip of a Dubai-based influencer. I can't remember the name. She was a girl and she had basically recorded one single content and she made 100 content out of it just with the help of AI. I mean, it's amazing. Like she just recorded once and made 100 reels out of it just through AI.
Yeah.
I mean, and she didn't reveal it. Some other guy revealed that like if you see her lips carefully, she's not saying anything. She's just saying the one thing, but the voice and everything.
Yeah.
So what do you think about disruptive technologies like this? A lot of AI is also used in creating fake news, fake images, fake videos and stuff like that. It can be like very dangerous.
Yeah, look on the sort of power of AI to create content. Yeah, there's even stuff this week that just looks more real and real.
Yes.
Didn't even have that lady speaking. Like, there was one.
You have seen the recent video of Google where they have released a stand-up comedian doing a joke and it was completely generated out of AI. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like AI. It looks real.
Yeah, it does.
So it's very hard to distinguish what is real and what is fake.
Maybe, but I wouldn't go into too much fear. I think when actors were making movies or animation or cartoons 100 years ago with Disney, that wasn't real.
But people know it's animation, right?
Yeah, but does it matter? If you're looking for escapism, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's a human behind it at some level. Like, someone's doing the prompt for, what's it called, VO3 or whatever it is, and I found that fascinating. I think fundamentally it's going to change production things. It's going to change the need for camera people and everything. But on one level, like, it doesn't mean it replaces everything. Media is always fragmented. I'm doing a keynote at the moment at conferences about future of AI and media, and we see three areas. One is the content creators, two is the agents, and three is pure AI. So the content creators and the AI algorithm on TikTok is 2025. It exists. Serving up things that you like based on your preferences is machine learning. It's A/B testing. It's LLMs mixed in. Netflix do it. That's AI, right? And then telling an agent that you want news based on certain topics in your WhatsApp at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, going on Perplexity and getting a summary of what happened in a city. That's AI, right? And then a third level is AI doing everything from scratch. And yeah, it's not real. But like, but when media was interesting at the time, like you see many things of parents articles in the 50s of saying too much color TV is brainwashing, it's bad for you. And it's
Yeah.
the same stuff like you know, yeah, like deep fakes and fake news is bad, but like ultimately, like there's a legal system that needs to adapt, there's regulation that needs to adapt, and we just have to be a bit nuanced and detailed how we go about this. I think there is, platforms should have responsibility on some of this stuff, but I think it's exciting.
No, so why I ask you this question, because in media publishing any news, when the timing matters, like if anything is trending and everything, and if you share that thing, that thing quickly goes viral. Now if there is a fake news, there is very less time to verify whether it's fake or not. I mean, if you go to the verify, you lose the time basically. A lot of times it happens, people just share like casually, and they don't understand that it's maybe fake, and later a day or two they realize, okay, this was a fake news. And a lot of media gets a backlash, hey, you are a respectable media, you should at least verify it on the front end.
Yeah, but if you go
This has
to
happened for Twitter handles of New York Times or Washington Post. They have just retweeted a fake news or something like that, or
true,
an AI image or something like that.
true, but in the 1890s when William Randolph Hearst was making newspapers in America, and when he published a newspaper and it went to print and the people got it on a Tuesday at 6 p.m., they don't know it's true. If it was said in the courthouse, they don't know it's true. And then the next day they have to issue an apology. Like, yes, these things have speeded up. Of course they have. But look at what Elon Musk has put on now, the community notes on X to clarify things. Technology, data, and transparency. I believe technology is a net positive. I think we're better off with it than without it. So if you enter into this conversation with a positive mindset and an open mindset, then you'll be able to ask the relevant questions. Like in the early days of Lovin Dubai, people would question us a lot, and they would say, "Oh, the comments on this post, blah 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 blah," and all this sort of stuff. And I'm kind of like, cool, but the social media platforms haven't given us the feature to turn off the comments or to tone down the heat and to stop the hate speech and everything like that. And they would say to me, well, it's your fault. And I'm like, cool, but like, I'm not responsible for building Instagram and Facebook and all these sort of things. Are we responsible for what we publish on it? Absolutely. But you just have to sort of try and understand the different roles of different things and say, do you want to block social media in a country? Do you want, like in this case, like what you're saying, one solution would be to block AI.
But it's like blocking technology.
Yeah, so let's do it. If you don't want deepfakes, let's block AI. Let's just block it.
But you cannot do it.
Well, you can. You can block AI if you want. You can turn off the internet. You can turn off the lights if you want. If you're afraid that the lights might whatever, like if you want, you can turn it off.
Once the bullet is out of the gun, no one can stop
No,
it.
you can turn off the internet. You can. WhatsApp calls are blocked here. You can block YouTube and Facebook and Instagram in Dubai.
Yeah, you can block
TikTok
that. Yes.
is blocked in your country.
Yes. But then again, people use VPN and stuff
TikTok
like that.
is blocked in your country.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you just
India.
told me the bullet is out. No. TikTok's blocked in your country. 1.2 billion people. TikTok is blocked in India. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's only one platform. I mean, AI is like not catering to any platform. It's like across the internet.
Yeah, but you can block the internet. Like if you're so afraid, block it. Like why what I like about what the sovereign wealth funds and what Saudi's doing is working with their allies in the US and bringing the chips in, and we see so many announcements every week. Sheikh Tahnoon in Abu Dhabi, we have Humane with a new CEO in Riyadh, we have data centers, data factories, we have Stargate coming. Like I'm inspired by this. I'm not afraid about it. I love that we're in a region that's embracing the future of the world. Like just some part of robots and AGI scare me. Yeah, but like, but the sort of opportunity there is to sort of learn and to see how it comes about.
And how are you using AI in your company?
we license a lot of softwares for video and captions and text. We also, just on the sort of generative part, we also use AI in production of sports, futsal, volleyball, handball, basketball, football.
Okay.
So we actually have AI software that stitches together lenses and tells the camera where to go up and down the pitch.
Oh.
We do it in about 16 stadiums across the UAE. We stream 600 games in the season 2024-2025 season, which is finishing next week. And AI does that. No OB truck, no camera person. We won a Fast Company Middle East award for that in 2022. We've been doing it for years. We will do AI commentary. We will do AI automated highlights. We're also building an AI writer. It's already live.
AI writer.
Yeah, so the AI will write the articles on the Lovin app.
Okay. And these are your like own AI softwares.
Yeah, a lot of it is through open source technologies, but it's coded by our developers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And coming from AI, like coming to your like personal life, you have done Ironman races. Like how many Ironman?
9 or 10 70.3s and 2-ish full Ironmans.
When was the first Ironman? Which year?
I think 2017, 2018.
Okay, so you just started recently. I mean, like 7 years back, 7, 8 years back.
Yeah, I started triathlon 10 years ago. My first triathlon
Okay.
was 2015.
Okay.
Did my first marathon in 2007, nearly 20 years ago.
So tell us like some nice experiences from Ironman races and like how did it help you in life to grow as an entrepreneur, as a person, and some nice incidents from your Ironman events.
Going back, Udit, to Dubai, a lot of the communities, a lot of my social life has been around 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm in a group now, it's called Apex. There's about 20, 30 people. We go swimming together, we go running together. So that's been one of the best things about triathlon. I do train a lot on my own, but I have that group. I have that sort of, when I'm cycling, I was out cycling this morning and people just wave passing by and things like that. So that's been great. That's been a nice sort of community in Dubai. And then, just the social aspects. Like you see similar like-minded people who have businesses and things in the morning in random places across the UAE, like Mamzar or Khorfakan or different places. You just meet them and you pass by them in the race and you say good luck and well done. And everyone's on their own journey. Some people are, coming back from an injury. Some people have had kids. Some people are taking it up again when they're 50. And, no one really judges. It's just a nice community. And then there's the travel aspect. I did some nice races across the region. I've done Bahrain, Muscat, Estonia, Hurghada, Sal Hashish in Egypt, and Dubai, and different places. I'm actually doing an Ironman in 5 weeks' time in France.
Wow.
So it's my first time doing one in France, but yeah.
Okay. And how did it help you grow as an entrepreneur and as a person? Like,
I think that it definitely helped me because, it helped me de-stress. Like,
because here you are not the boss of a company. Here you are on your own. Like, you're the solo performer.
You are, yeah. It's definitely an individual sport. Like, I found it worked for me. Like, I found getting on a bike after a long week for 2 or 3 hours was a nice de-stressor. And swimming, it's almost a form of meditation. When they tell people to meditate, they say let thoughts come in and go out, and that naturally happens when you're swimming because you know what to talk to, you know what to write, you know what to text. Thoughts are naturally kind of going in or out. In the tough early years and when we were dealing with things, I found the triathlon outlet a really great outlet, and I'd recommend it, but it's not for everyone. I think, physically, I probably, would be better off doing high rocks, this trendy thing, or, any stuff like that. But I enjoy endurance sports, and I hope, inshallah, I can keep it up as long as possible.
Okay, in one of the podcasts, you were saying that you have not focused much on your personal brand rather than on the, your company brand, your Lovin brand and everything. Although you are doing podcasts now, but it's more about, to keep a document of the journey and not to make your personal brand, So why didn't you focus more on, because Dubai, there are a lot of, influencers and it's the place for personal brands. So why didn't you do that?
Because we can make more money the other way. I feel myself, I'm an employee.
Like Elon Musk is a personal brand, but then his companies are also a brand at Tesla and SpaceX. So I mean, if you see at the highest level, I mean.
Yeah, I think, going back to the original part of that question, I think I had a conscious choice that I wanted to be CEO of Augustus Media, not Rich from Lovin Dubai. I didn't do collab posts on Instagram with Lovin Dubai and Fitzy Richard, as some content creators do. I choose not to do that because I think there's a place for creators, and many of them are excellent. And we often curate the best of what they do, and we play the media role on this on Lovin Dubai. And if I do something that's amazing, and if Lovin Dubai pick it up, then fine. But as a choice, with 22 Lovins, the content creator in Beirut can go and interview someone, or to go and tell a story, and cover a restaurant. They can do that. I'd have to get on a plane. There's only so much I can do. Like our team in Dubai, we can do 20 real shoots or takeovers at events in a week. We can have 5 people at one event on a Thursday night. At 5 events, on a Thursday night. And then we can have a team editing that footage and improving it with clients and going out the next day. The volume and the speed, if you have a brand, is bigger. Going back to the personal brand thing, maybe, like, I'm not totally against it. I just believe in opportunity cost, and I think if I had one editor working on just me, this is why I'm doing this on a Saturday afternoon, and I slot in the podcast requests on Saturdays because it's my one day off. I'll be in the office tomorrow. We have 3 offices working tomorrow: Qatar, Saudi, and Egypt. 50 people will be working tomorrow. Actually, more.
Tomorrow means Sunday. 50 people will be working on Sunday.
80, yeah. 70, 80, yeah. 50 in Egypt, 20 in Riyadh, and 5 in Qatar. Yeah.
So it's like a 7-day office, or like?
Well, in those countries, Sunday to Thursday is the working week.
Okay.
So, I kind of jump in an office on those days and speak to the MDs and the heads of the departments. Like my product guy is in Egypt, so I use Sunday to have a call with him because I'm busy during the week. In Dubai, like I run the office here, so it's a big office. It's a big business for us at the size we are. But yeah, the personal brand, like Gary Vaynerchuk, is someone I would have known or looked up to from afar in the early years of social media, and he managed to build out Team Garvey and the agency. But I think at times you sort of choose Gary Vaynerchuk over VaynerMedia. I think at times. And I don't mean that as a criticism. Like I think that's needed. I think he had more impact, and he probably made more money. I think it was hard enough to do what we've done with Augustus Media than me trying to build my brand as well. But I also, going to your second part of that, of Elon Musk, I do believe in having using social media and modern media tools like podcasts to communicate.
Then Trump is also promoting his, Trump Social or some other social media where Truth Social. Trump is also doing the same.
Yeah, he has a platform, and they do this, and some people are good at it, and some people aren't. I wouldn't say I'm naturally good at it. I don't have the same impact, but I just think it's good to have that platform. I think it helps the ultimate mission of growing Augustus Media. But it doesn't stop the detractors or the haters. It doesn't stop the mixed opinions. And I don't really mind that. I think, Elon Musk and Donald Trump you talked earlier about, polar sides. Like they get a lot of people going against them on both sides.
Yes.
But I think, living inside someone's head is actually what media is. If a brand... ultimately, if you're true to yourself, if you're sort of being ethical and abiding by the laws, and if you're clear on your knowledge and conviction, and that you're going through your mission, I was listening to an interview in person with Elon Musk this week. He was on video call and in the Bloomberg Qatar Economic Forum, and they asked him, "Are you going to use your drones for weapons?" And he said, "No, but." If you listen to the Walter Isaacson book or read it about Elon Musk, he from his upbringing and from the sci-fi books that he read, he is interested in weapons. He plays warfare games. So I think it was a very legit question. It was very interesting to see how he answered it. And I think ultimately, like, you have to really, understands your ethics and your morals and your lines. And I think, a lot of, from my view on media, what happens to a lot of media people is they do get dragged into politics. And, go back, I reference William Randolph Hearst, and I finished listening to an excellent book called Radio Free Afghanistan, and the end of it is the founder of the radio station just talking about politics. Like you get sucked into it.
Yeah, they are dragged into it.
Yeah, and like referencing the meetings that you're in the US with other political advisors, as well as being in rooms with media people. But I think you do kind of get sucked into politics, and there can be politics on your media. But what I like about Rupert Murdoch, and there is politics on his media, but he's very much a media guy. He never ran for elections. Like, again, referencing Bloomberg Qatar Economic Forum, Mike Bloomberg spoke. He ran for president. So I think there's a fine line of, where you go with that. But yeah, so that's the thing about personal brand. To what end? Donald Trump built his personal brand and then had such an ego, kind of, and obviously felt he could make America great again. So he goes for politics, and I'm just conscious of like the personal brand and the privacy thing, and at what level do you go with the personal brand? But being a CEO of a company and learning how to communicate in, as you said, about real time and things going viral, and being able to stop things down. Like you mentioned Andrew Tate,
yes,
there, and the controversy over that. If we don't come out and say, hey, why are people having a go at Lovin Dubai on this? Like, why, if we don't sort of come out and say, and put the truth out about, what we're doing, and, say, like, if we, he was here again recently, and there are some people who didn't like that a restaurant advertised on our platform about the restaurant, and he was in the video. But if we disclose that it's an ad, then what's wrong with that? Like, if the restaurants do nothing illegal, it's just like if a brand uses George Clooney to promote their coffee, and they advertise that coffee with his video on your platform, and some people hate him. Now, obviously, George Clooney, in theory, is more popular than a divisive figure like Andrew Tate, and I get that. But I think you just need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to have the conversation, and we're willing to have the conversation. I think that's what mature media does. Like, that's what this region is getting better and better at. Is having that dialogue and having that conversation.
And one thing I have noticed also recently, I mean, like the last 3-4 years, there is a lot of rage bait content. Like, you say something against a particular community, you say it intentionally, so there is a rage, basically. So, I mean, how do you think, like, I mean, and it creates a lot of social unrest and, divide, which is very bad. But then creators want to get viral. I mean, you know how the social media works. It either this way or that way. I mean, you cannot be, in the middle. So, what do you think about trends like that?
Well, I don't think it's encouraged under the media guidelines of the region. The region doesn't want to incite hate or hate speech, especially in the Gulf countries. You can't have protests. And it goes back to defamation. Like, what's the rage about? What are you protesting about? Like, what are you complaining about? So if I said that your podcast isn't any good, then how dare I, with my opinion, ruin your chance of earning a living? Like, who am I? So I think I like these media guidelines of the region. I think people used to say, if it bleeds, it leads. And going back to your rage point of like getting likes and clickbait, I don't necessarily think that's as true as it was before. Sure, it does, but you can get just as much engagement by cutting an inspiring video or finding the right media lens. Like Lovin Dubai if you look at the Lovin Dubai Instagram feed today, I just, on my phone, just like 3 hours ago, there's 10,000 likes of a man petting a cat, feeding a cat off the street after a labourer after his day of work. What's wrong with that? And we're not saying, hey, let's do good news, but we're just say, like, we don't have to lead with rage. Like, you don't have to put out negative stuff. You don't have to. Sometimes comments will kick off. But is that you? Is that social media? Or is that just society? Is that just people? Are things generally upsetting people? And if they are, then that's okay too. Like, people are emotional. It's okay to be upset about things. It's okay to, for a genocide, for the hurt of people to upset, and it's okay to express. But how far do you go? Do you create social unrest because of that? No. But it's okay to say that's wrong. I don't, I don't like this. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with right-wing extremists per se, but I understand that causing unrest in another, or in another country because of that isn't right. And I also understand that there are different ways to do things, but I understand that ultimately it's better to be empowered and ennobled rather than emboldened.
Okay, so now coming back again to your personal journey, like what advice you would give to someone under 25 watching this podcast, like I mean with so much life experiences, so much you have built around, with so much things you have seen, what advice you would give? Because a good amount of my audience is younger audience.
Yeah, I love meeting the younger people, the 25-year-olds, and people like you who are here on a Saturday doing podcasts. More power to you guys. Keep it up. Keep going. Don't be in too much of a rush. I think Gary Vaynerchuk always says like this. Like, I still feel young. Elon Musk is 54 or 55. He's not stopping. I still feel young. Like, I don't think we should compare too much. I'm 42 this summer, and for me, it's all about longevity. It's doing those extra push-ups, staying a little bit fit when you can, even when you're tired. It's all about longevity. I started my business when I was 32, and on some levels, I feel like, oh, the ones who were billionaires or trillionaires started when they were 20, and that's true. But also, their economies allowed that, and the timing of that. So things are about timing. People are ready. People develop at different times. But if you're 25 and you really, really want to start a business, that feeling will always be with you, and it actually won't be too late. Yeah.
I'll tell you like why I did ask you this question, because a lot of this young guys in crypto or online gurus, they like in 2 years I bought a Ferrari, in 2 years I was broke and living in my garage, and I've done this, and people feel okay, I'm 20, it's too late, this guy had done so much. People feel depressed by seeing this online coaches and the crypto gurus and everything. So
Yeah, the Ferrari thing never got me, but no, like I get it, but one of the reasons why I've been able to be successful in a way, and I'll say that or whatever, like perceived success, is that I did the hard slog for 10 years in agencies, and going back to the tenacity, the harder I work today, the more I was rewarded tomorrow. So having bosses who sort of bully me, having conflict, my own cause with people, having issues with clients, having all this sort of stuff helped me, help me manage people in the future, manage situations with a mature way, and help me give time to work on myself, that I could deal with the pressure. And then when I do have that success, then I can hold on to it for longer, per se. So yeah, I think everyone's at a different level. Like, I sort of definitely jumped into social media, and that helped. But there's many things that I didn't do. There's many people who have much bigger followers or much bigger networks or much bigger influencers, like Mr. Beast, for example. But like, so we can't compare too much. But yeah, if you're listening to this, or if you're doing something like this, keep it up and don't give up. And I think there is possible to make a living and to do well out of content and social media.
just to tell all my subscribers, I mean, I have like currently 11,000 subscribers. May I go to 50K and 100K. This is what real life millionaire advice looks like, and not what you see on Instagram, like, with the flashy cars and.
Everything compounds.
Yes.
Like, if I learned one thing from 32 to now, in the last 10 years, everything I do in my life is compound. Whether it's the time I spend with my wife over friends, whether it's investing, whether it's listening to audiobooks, whether it's
I'll come to the books part. I know you're.
and investing and everything. Like, I can make decisions now about bonds versus other things. I'm not brilliant, but I can make my own financial decisions because of all the books that I read and the mistakes that I made on equities and things like that. So compounding and knowledge embracing knowledge at your own level, however you consume it. But audiobooks is amazing, but yeah.
Okay. So your top three books?
I don't know if I have top three books. I think
How many books do you read in a year or in
20.
a month? 20.
I do 20 a year, give or take, 18 to 25.
And these books are mostly on self-help, motivation, life lessons, or what is it?
That was one topic. So, so I have three topics.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Okay.
So self-improvement. The second one is business. So any entrepreneur, any startup, like Ride of a Lifetime, Shoe Dog, William Hurst's book, the guy who did the Daily Mail, like all those ones, they're business books. Elon Musk at the moment, I categorize that as a business entrepreneur book. And the third type of book is the Middle East. So whether it's Islam, whether it's geopolitics, whether it's anything to do with the Arab world.
You want to understand better the...
Yeah.
Okay.
History about the region. Yeah. So they're the three books, and I go on rotate. And I listen to 7 to 11 hours audiobooks. And, the faster ones are the self-help ones, but always the entrepreneur books are always the best books. Always the best books.
So your top three books, you haven't answered that.
I think I mentioned them. So, like Ride of a Lifetime, I really liked the Bob Iger one, and brilliant what he did in Abu Dhabi the other day.
Okay.
Everyone says Shoe Dog. I like I can't even remember it. So Lord something. The one about the Daily Mail guy, and then the William Randolph Hearst book. But yeah, I like any of the sort of audiobooks, any of the autobiographies.
And you listen to a lot of podcasts also.
Yeah.
And what are the favorite podcasts?
Smashi Business Show.
Okay,
Lovin Dubai Show.
Self-promotion.
Smashi Business Show is excellent.
Okay.
Ward Ahmed and Abdul Majid are on every day for 30-40 minutes, 5 days a week. Okay. If you want to know about the region and business, trust me. Listen to that in the car on the way home from work.
Abdul Majid.
Yeah, it's called the Smashi Business Show. Yeah.
Okay. And you are into supplements also.
Yeah.
What supplements you consume, like daily basis or like?
I use Bionic now. Shout out to Vadim and the team there. I use Bionic. They're kind of blood. You do your own bloods, and they give you your custom supplements. But I've had to, for health reasons, I've had to go on a few other bits of medication.
Not like magnesium, zinc, or talking about daily supplements.
So
like
Bionic is a mixture of magnesium and zinc and everything that's suited towards your blood type, and then they add omega-3s as extra. Okay. So I just do that. Yeah, they're my main supplements.
Okay. And what are your short-term and long-term goals from here on? Like something which you are looking forward in this year or in the next
Lovin Dubai turns 10 in September, so
wow,
we're looking
that's
forward
great.
to doing a Lovin Dubai turns 10. Trying to do a little bit of an advertising campaign around that, and then for the next,
if possible, call me in the 10th year celebration party.
Yeah, I will. Keep in touch and let's do that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then we then we'll look to the next 10 years and plan around that.
Okay.
We're quite excited. We've got World Cups in Morocco and Saudi in the next 10 years, so quite excited.
You're spreading the Lovin brand across the region, more cities.
Yeah.
And that's also the long-term vision.
Yeah. We want to grow Augustus Media. I'd like to list it one day. We have ODM, our content studio.
And it will always be in social media, or you will come to mainstream media also, like television or something like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, digital media is mainstream media. We are on TV. The Smashi app is on LG smart TV devices OS, and we're getting onto Samsung. We will launch the Lovin Dubai TV channel as streaming on Samsung TV Plus, inshallah, soon. Look out for that. And we have a large application, podcast network, newsletter network, website network. So digital mainstream.
10 years back when you started, there was nothing called TikTok or short videos. And suddenly, short videos came and it was like everywhere. What kind of platform changes you can see? You never know which can be, the next big platform, and what kind of platform changes you were seeing in social media like?
I think
In fact, YouTube was also not so big, which is right now.
True. I think by embracing digital and by embracing text, audio, and video, you're almost future-proof, right? Like, if we're going into, like I described about AI and agents, Johnny Ive and Sam Altman produced a device this week. What does media do for that? We have Alexa. I think screens. If you go to CES in Vegas, all about screens. The OS, the operating system in the self-driving cars. Like, where's the media and where's the consumption? I think messaging apps are underutilized for media. Podcasts are underutilized. Newsletters are underutilized.
Podcasts are underutilized, but there are so much podcasts happening around.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still underutilized. Okay. I think from messaging, I don't think enough people understand how to use them. I think advertising is still relatively small
Okay.
on podcasting.
Okay, got it. And any last message you want to give to the viewers, like anything?
To follow Udit, follow his, subscribe to YouTube.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And also follow Smashi TV and follow Lovin Dubai in all the social media. Thanks a lot, Rich. Thanks a lot.
All right,
for
thanks for
coming
your
to the podcast.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. It was a great
Thank
chat.
you. Thank you.